Hello everyone, my name is Pooja. I am a watercolor artist and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, we are going to paint some fun, relaxing and colorful watercolor rainbows and learn a thing or two about colors. Are you ready to explore colors with me? Well, then let's look at the art supplies we need for this project and get started. Okay, so as always, we are going to need some watercolor paper, and if you don't have watercolor paper, try using a thick card paper or cardstock paper, and try to use the side that is textured, so that way you can build up some texture when you're using watercolors and your colors won't just flow on the paper. You will be able to have some control on it. Then we are going to need some watercolors. For this project, we are pretty much going to use all the colors that you have available in your palette. So I'm using this palette which has 12 colors, and we are going to need the basic colors like red, yellow, orange, maybe a pink, purple, blue, greens, and that should be it. So if you have these colors, then I think you're good to go. We are also going to need a round brush, preferably a size 6 or 8. Today we are going to need just one brush because we are pretty much going to use the same kind of brush stroke and the same thickness to draw every rainbow. So you're good with any one brush that you have in your watercolor kit. We are also going to need 2 cups of clean water. In 1 cup, you can rinse all your warm colors such as red, yellow and oranges, and in the other cup, you can rinse all your cooler colors like purple, blues and greens. So that way your water won't turn muddy. If you mix all the colors together in just 1 cup, eventually your water is going to turn muddy brown, and that muddy water will be seen in your painting as you continue to use that water. So make sure that you at least change your water if it starts to get muddy, or use 2 separate cups of water. We are also going to need some tissue paper to dab and clean your brush. And I would also recommend you to have a pair of scissors and a hole punching machine, just in case if you decide to convert your rainbow paintings into bookmarks like how I did. And you can do that with me in the end of the video, but it's absolutely optional. And if you make a bookmark, you will also need a small string to tie at the top of the bookmark. So keep these things handy if you want to make bookmarks with me in the end. Okay, so let's have a look at this set of rainbows that I have already painted. So as you can see, I have colored a few rainbows in a warm color scheme like red, yellow, orange, a few in contrasting color schemes such as yellow, purple or red and green, and a few monochrome ones like this blue one on the top. So we are going to just make a few combinations and explore the colors on the color wheel. And to do this, I'm going to use this palette which has 12 colors in it, and it has all the basic colors such as red, yellow, orange, pink, green, purple and some blues. So gather all your colors together and let's paint them one by one. Now to paint the rainbows, I want them aligned horizontally. So I'm going to draw a couple of horizontal lines. In total, we are going to paint about 8 rainbows. So 4 on one side and 4 on the other. And I'm going to leave a gap in the middle. So just in case if we decide to convert these rainbows into bookmarks, we can just cut them through the center and separate them out. Now the height of each of my rainbow is going to be about 4 centimeters. So you can use this height as a reference point. Let's begin by drawing the first rainbow, which is the blue one. I'm going to use this darker shade of blue in my palette, and we are going to build this rainbow by using varying shades of this blue color. So let's start by drawing a darker layer of this blue color, and I'm just drawing a semicircle. I'm being very approximate. These rainbows need not look perfect, but just use your estimation or approximation to draw each of these rainbows. Now remember that you have to draw about 3 to 4 more such semicircles inside this big one. So draw your first semicircle a bit bigger, about 4 centimeters in height, and then we will start adding the semicircles inside the big one. And as you do that, add more water to your color. So when you reach the smallest semicircle, your rainbow will look the lightest in the center. So I'm just adding very little paint on my brush. So that's my monochrome rainbow, which is having shades of just one color, and that's why we call it a monochrome rainbow. Now let's move on to the next rainbow, which is made up of red, orange and yellow colors. So we are going to call this a warm colored rainbow. Now red, orange and yellow are supposed to be the warm colors on the color wheel. They are next to each other on the color wheel. So we are going to paint a rainbow using this color combination. So the first semicircle is going to be red, and I'm going to draw it bigger so I can fit the other semicircles inside that one. Okay, so this first one is red. Now let's move on and paint an orange one. I'm just leaving a small white gap between every two semicircles. If they touch, it's completely okay. The colors will simply blend beautifully into each other. So don't stress yourself too much. If your semicircles bleed into each other, that's completely okay. But at this point, I want them to look defined. So I'm going to make sure that I leave a white gap in between each of the layers of the rainbow. So for the third semicircle, I'm just using a slightly lighter shade of orange. And then in the center, I'm going to make a small yellow semicircle. I think painting rainbows is really fun. I find this process absolutely relaxing, and it's so meditative to just get involved with the colors and calmly and patiently paint all the rainbows. I think it really calms you down if you get into the process. Okay, so now, like I told you before, I'm going to use 2 cups of water, one to rinse my warm colors and the other cup to rinse my cool colors like the blue and the green. Okay, so now let's move on to the next rainbow, which is going to be purple and yellow. Now, purple and yellow are contrasting colors on the color wheel. So let's start by drawing a purple semicircle like so. I'm just using the belly of the brush and I'm dragging it along an imaginary semicircle. Okay, the next semicircle is going to be yellow, and I'm just very slowly painting all of them one by one. and then the next one is again going to be purple, and then a yellow again. So this rainbow is just going to be an alternating color rainbow. Make sure you rinse your brush in water before dipping it in yellow color, or else the purple color on your brush will make the yellow appear muddy. Okay, so that's our third rainbow. For the next one, I'm going to use color combination of green and blue. So I'm going to use a lighter and a darker shade of green, and also two shades of blue, a dark blue and a turquoise blue. So all of these shades of green and blue fall into the cool color scheme on the color wheel. So we are going to start with a green semicircle. My green is quite bright and cheerful. It's somewhere between light green and dark green. Okay. I think I want to make it a bit darker on the left side, and I'll just allow that green color to bleed onto the right side. And now I'm going to draw a turquoise semicircle, which is this shade on my palette. It's quite nice and bright, which I think will look very nice with this green color that we have. So that's turquoise blue. All right. Now let's move ahead and draw one more green semicircle. And this time I'm mixing just a bit of blue into it to make it a darker shade of green. There you go. I think it's looking quite nice. So that's our dark green semicircle. And now let's add one more semicircle in the shade of blue. So I'm using my dark blue to draw the smallest one, like so. Okay. Now let's go ahead and paint a contrasting color combination rainbow, which is in the combination of red and green. Now red and green are the complementary colors or opposite colors on the color wheel. So let's paint a rainbow using this combination. I'm starting out with a red semicircle, and then a green one, and then a red one and a green one again. So take your time to paint every rainbow. Enjoy the process of exploring colors one by one, and just have fun. Okay, so that's our red and green rainbow. Now let's move on to the next one and draw a blue and orange rainbow. I'm starting out with a darker shade of blue. Blue and orange are complementary colors on the color wheel, and I think it's a very fun and bright combination of colors. I really love it when orange is paired with blue. When you are drawing the semicircle, try to press your brush down to get a nice thick brush stroke. It will make it quite easy to draw the semicircles. Try to press the bristles of the brush down to make it easy. This time I used turquoise blue to go along with orange. I think both the shades of blue are looking very nice with the orange. They're complementing very well. And let's draw one more orange semicircle or an arch. I think I have place to fit one small one. Yeah, there you go. So try to fit one more in there. Okay, now let's move on to the next rainbow, which is quite bright because it has this fuchsia pink or a bright shade of pink in addition to the red and orange. So this is a warm colored rainbow too. It's just that we added a bit of pink to this one. Otherwise, it's quite similar to the second rainbow that we just drew, but we are just adding a hint of pink to it. I think I want the pink semicircle to be a bit more darker, so I'm just adding a darker value like so. Now let's add red. I think red and pink also looks very nice together. Now I'm going to add an orange semicircle. So it's going to be pink, red, orange. Let's draw a pink one again. Okay. I think I will fit one more in the center, just a small one. Yeah, now it looks complete. All right, now let's go ahead and do the last one, which is a different combination, a slightly different one. I'm going to use brown and yellow as the color combination for this last rainbow. Let's start with a shade of brown. and then a yellow one, a yellow semicircle inside the brown one. And then a brown one again. We are just going to alternate between the two colors. And just a small one in the center, like so. Okay, so there we have it. We painted quite a few rainbows in a very small amount of time. So we have rainbows in monochrome, a warm color scheme, cooler color scheme, and a few contrasting color schemes. So those are all our rainbows, and now let's see how we can convert these rainbows into bookmarks. Okay, so to make the bookmarks, I'm going to start by erasing out the pencil lines. So we drew these horizontal lines in the beginning, so I'm just going to erase them nicely and just make the sheet of paper clean, like so. Okay, so now we are going to draw a line in the center of the page and then cut it to make two separate sheets of paper, which we are going to use as the two bookmarks. So I'm just going to quickly draw a line and cut through the center. Okay, so there we have it. I just used a cutter to cut the sheet of paper and I punched one hole on each of the bookmarks. And now I'm just putting in a string through the hole and tying a knot at the top. Similarly, I'm going to put a string through the other bookmark as well. You can also use a satin ribbon to make these strings. Okay, so there we have it. Now if you want, you can write your name below. There is some white gap at the bottom, so you can write your name or you can gift it to someone and write their name onto these bookmarks. Okay, so here we have it, a bright and colorful tutorial to paint your own rainbows. And if you like this tutorial, then do comment below and let me know if you had fun painting this with me. And if you missed painting with me last year, then don't worry. You can find all of these tutorials in the Watercolors for Kids playlist under my playlist section on this channel. So do check them out and try to paint as many projects as you can, and I would love to see them. Before we sign off, if you still haven't subscribed to my channel, then please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon so you won't miss the future tutorials that I will publish on this channel. Thank you so much for watching and take care.